Hi everyone, this is my week 8 video, and just to jump right into it, we learned about conflict this week. And just to give a quick definition of what conflict is, it's a state of social discord, usually negative, and has to do with friction within the team, and usually characterized by feelings of frustration, anger, and anxiety. And what I learned in this week is that there are different types of conflicts in groups. So we have task conflict, which has to do with, of course, the tasks and the disagreements over what team tasks there are and what to do with them. And then there are relationship conflicts, which has to do with the compatibility of the team members and emotional tensions with each other. And then there's process conflict, which is defined as disputes over how a task will be divided, and status conflicts, which have to do with the status of each individual member and how they relate to each other. And what I found interesting this week was kind of the different perspectives on conflict and how some people view it as a completely negative thing that should be avoided, while others have a more accepting view of it. And for me, I would say that whenever I was in a work group conflict, I am kind of the mind that it's normally like a negative thing, and I usually try like not to have conflict, or I avoid conflict at work, because most of the time it is kind of that like relationship conflict where a lot of feelings do get involved. But I guess it also depends like how involved in the group I am. So a lot of the time when there's conflict, it has to do with a number of people within the group, not exactly like the whole group, but of course like the issues between a couple group members does influence the whole group and how we function and the flow of the team. So if it's something that I'm not necessarily involved in personally within the group, and it's like a couple of other people, I usually just do my best to like stay away from the conflict. But if it is like something that is directly related to me, if someone has a problem with me, or if I have a problem with someone else, or I have a problem with how things are run, like the division of tasks and whatnot, then I would try to have a cooperative style of like in terms of conflict. I do try to see where the other person is coming from and kind of reflect on how I work, and whether or not there's something I could change to kind of make it a better work environment for everyone. So the way I approach conflict varies depending on how involved I am with the group and what exactly the problem is. And ultimately, I think conflict is not necessarily beneficial, but I am of the mind that it's unavoidable, and it is kind of going back to that, the group formation, development, and that storming phase. I feel like it's something that's unavoidable, and we all go through that phase within a group. Going back to like the beginning, we are individuals within a group, so it's important to maintain your individuality. And that includes having conflicting opinions and beliefs with other people in the group. So it's unavoidable, and I think the way you go about it is more important than the conflict itself. So I guess the conflict isn't really the problem, it's more so how you deal with the conflict, and what leadership is doing to help maintain peace within the group. But I think ultimately like conflict is unavoidable. So again, I can't say whether it's beneficial or not, but I think it's unavoidable, and I think it's beneficial to accept that it is unavoidable, but also try to kind of minimize conflict wherever we can. So yeah, thank you guys.